The room is silent, dead silent. The only sound is the rhythmic, mocking tick of a clock somewhere in the darkness. Or perhaps the hum of a refrigerator that sounds like a distant engine failing to start. It is 2:00 a.m., the witching hour of the soul. You are lying in bed, wrapped in sheets that feel less like comfort and more like a shroud. Your body is exhausted, desperate for the oblivion of sleep. But your mind is a neon-lit casino that refuses to close. It is spinning the wheel over and over again, placing bets on disasters that haven't happened yet. You stare at the ceiling, trying to decipher patterns in the shadows, but all you see is the projection of your own terror. You already know the logic. You've recited the rational arguments to yourself 1,000 times, like a broken mantra. Worry changes nothing. It is a thief that steals today's strength to fight tomorrow's ghosts. It doesn't pay the overdue bills stacking up on the counter. It doesn't reverse the diagnosis. It doesn't make the person who walked away turn around and come back. It doesn't clear the fog of a future that feels thick, heavy, and impenetrable. And yet, logic is powerless here. You are trapped in a biological loop, a neuronal storm that cares nothing for your rationality. The job you might lose, you play out the firing scene in 4K resolution. The money you don't, you count the phantom coins in an empty vault. The relationship crumbling like dry sand between your fingers, you replay the arguments, the silences, the endings. But if we are truly honest, if we strip away the surface noise, the hardest part isn't the worry itself. The worry is just the smoke. The fire is something else. It is the secondary voice. The quiet, venomous whisper that hisses in your ear. Why are you like this? Why can't you just let it go? Look at everyone else. They are sleeping. They are functioning. They are navigating this chaos with a smile. Why are you the only one drowning in shallow water? That is the second arrow. The guilt, the shame, the corrosive sense of failure that suggests you are fundamentally flawed, that your operating system is broken. You feel you should be stronger, calmer, more together. But tonight, you are none of those things. You are stuck in the mud of samsara, the endless wandering, wheels spinning, engine screaming, going absolutely nowhere. I want to pause this spinning wheel for a moment. I want to reach through the darkness and offer you a frequency of truth that cuts through the noise. Listen closely. You are not alone in this dark room. You are participating in the oldest human ritual. More than 2,500 years ago, a man sat beneath the Bodhi tree, the tree of awakening, in the dust of northern India. He wasn't a god. He wasn't a myth. He was a man named Siddhartha Gautama, a prince who had walked away from gold and palaces because he smelled the rotting scent of dissatisfaction beneath the perfume of luxury. He sat there, determined to crack the code of human existence. He looked into the abyss of the mind. He faced the armies of Mara, the personification of illusion, fear, and desire. And when the morning star rose and the thunderbolt of enlightenment struck his consciousness, he didn't open his eyes and say, "Everything is fine." He didn't offer a platitude like, "Just think positive thoughts." He didn't demand we suppress our agony with brute willpower. No. His first utterance was a diagnosis so stark, so raw, it shattered the silence of history. He said, "This is dukkha. This is suffering. This is unsatisfactoriness. This is the friction of the wheel against the axle." This was the first of the four noble truths. Not a commandment, not a judgment from a high deity, just a radical, unblinking acknowledgement of reality. A forensic report on the human condition. Suffering exists. Pain is real. The worry that grips your chest at 2 is not a mistake, it is part of the fabric of existence. The Buddha's first response to the terror of being alive was not to fix it, not to drug it, not to explain it away with fairy tales. His response was to see it, to witness it, to name it. Yes, this is happening, this is real. There is a profound, almost alchemical healing in that simple acknowledgement. Because usually, we are busy shooting ourselves with that second arrow I mentioned. We worry arrow 1. Then we judge ourselves for worrying arrow 2. We suffer. Then we suffer because we think we shouldn't be suffering. We layer resistance on top of pain, creating a compound fracture of the soul. But what if just for a microsecond you dropped the resistance? What if you stopped fighting the waves and just floated? What if you said, I am terrified, I am worried, and that is okay. It doesn't mean I am failing at life. It means I am alive. It means my nervous system is trying to protect me, however clumsily. Your situation is not a hallucination. The debt is real math. The uncertainty of the medical test is a real variable. The heartbreak is a real loss of connection. The pressure to restart your life in a new country, to learn a new language, to find footing on alien soil, these are heavy, gravitational forces. They crush diamonds. Of course, they weigh on you. Worrying doesn't mean you are weak. In the Vajrayana view, energy is just energy. The trembling of anxiety is the same energy as the vibration of compassion, just twisted by fear. It means you care. It means you love. It means you have skin in the game. You have dreams you are protecting, people you would bleed for, a future you are desperately trying to sculpt from the mist. That is not a flaw. That is the glorious, painful definition of being human. But the Buddha was not a nihilist. He didn't stop at life is suffering. That would be a tragedy. He went deeper. He became the surgeon. He said there is a cause, there is an end, and there is a path. So, before we try to fix anything, I invite you into a laboratory of the mind. Not a lecture hall, not a church, a laboratory. We are going to put worry under the microscope. We are going to slow down the film reel of your mind until we can see the individual frames. When you worry, when your mind orbits the same black hole of what ifs, what is the mechanism? On the surface, it looks like problem solving. I am preparing, you say. I am strategizing. I am building a fortress against disaster. But look closer. Is the fortress ever finished? You have thought about this problem 10,000 times. If thinking was the solution, you would have solved it by thought number 50. But the thinking never concludes. It never arrives. It is a wheel spinning in deep mud, high RPM, zero movement, friction, heat, smoke, but no traction. Why? The Buddha identified the root code of this glitch. He called it dependent origination, a complex chain of dominoes that fall, one after another, leading to this moment of panic. At the base of this chain lies Avijjā. We translate this as ignorance, but that is a terrible word. It sounds like an insult. It doesn't mean stupidity. You are not stupid. It means blindness. It means a lack of clear seeing. It is a cataract on the mind's eye. Not seeing what? Not seeing the fundamental nature of reality, impermanence. Not seeing that the solid, concrete future you are trying to grab by the throat does not exist. It is a phantom. It is a ghost town that hasn't been built yet. The mind looks at life, your bank account, your lover's face, your own health, and it hallucinates permanence. It thinks, I must freeze this. I must secure this forever. But reality is a river, not a rock. It moves, flows. Uncertainty is the only certainty. And when reality shifts, as it always does, the mind panics. It tries to think its way back to solid ground. It tries to predict every ripple in the water. But you cannot nail down a wave. So the mind spins faster and faster, trying to grasp the ungraspable. But let's get more granular. Worry has a specific texture, a specific chain reaction. It starts with a sensation, a physical trigger, a tightness in the solar plexus, a cold drop in the stomach, a rapid heartbeat. The mind feels this unpleasantness and reacts with the speed of a reflex. Get this away from me. It wants to escape the discomfort. This is craving, the craving for non-existence of the pain. From craving comes clinging. The mind latches onto a fantasy outcome. If only X happens, then I will be safe. If only the check clears, I will breathe. But the check hasn't cleared yet. The doctor hasn't called yet. So the clinging vibrates, it shakes. That vibration is what we call worry. The Buddha didn't call this a sin. He wasn't interested in sin. He was interested in mechanics. He called this one of the 5 hindrances adaka, kukuka, restlessness and remorse. It is a state of high-frequency agitation. The mind is a monkey jumping from branch to branch, never touching the ground. It revisits the past to steal regrets. It races to the future to steal anxieties. It is a thief of the present moment. Imagine a vast, deep lake. When the water is still, it is a perfect mirror. It reflects the moon, the stars, the mountains with absolute clarity. This is the natural state of your mind, clear, reflective. But worry is the wind. It whips the surface into whitecaps. It stirs up the sediment from the bottom until the water is brown and murky. You look into the lake and you see nothing but distortion. Now, listen, the sediment is not the lake's fault. The waves are not a defect in the water. They are just what happens when wind meets surface. Your anxiety is not a defect in your soul. It is simply the turbulence caused by the winds of uncertainty blowing across a mind that hasn't yet been trained in aerodynamics. The mind keeps worrying because it labors under a tragic delusion. It believes that more thinking will solve the problem of too much thinking. But you cannot think your way out of a prison made of thought. You cannot organize a future that hasn't arrived. The future is a horizon. It moves as you move. You can never step on it. So, how do we break the glass? How do we stop the wheel? There is a dangerous myth about meditation. People think the goal is to lobotomize themselves, to have a blank mind, to become a vegetable. I tried to meditate, they say, but I couldn't stop thinking. I failed. No, the Buddha never asked you to stop thinking. He asked you to stop being enslaved by thinking. There is a massive difference. In the Vitakkasaṇṭhāna Sutta, a masterclass in cognitive psychology, the Buddha gave us a toolkit. He offered 5 specific strategies to deal with the unskillful thoughts that hijack our peace. He didn't say just surrender. He gave us weapons of the mind. Method 1 of the Carpenter's peg. The Buddha used a visceral image. Imagine a master carpenter working with a piece of wood. There is a coarse, rotten peg stuck in the hole. How does he remove it? He doesn't yell at it. He doesn't pray for it to leave. He takes a finer, smoother, stronger peg, places it against the rotten one, and with one sharp blow of his mallet, he drives the old one out. Displacement. You cannot simply remove a worry hue, you must replace it. When the dark thought arises, I will lose everything, you don't fight it directly. You pick up a fine peg. A wholesome thought, a sensation of gratitude, the feeling of the breath entering the nostrils, the sensation of gravity holding you to the earth. You hammer the new thought into the space of the old one. Gently, skillfully, you switch the channel. You don't defeat the darkness, you turn on a light. Method 2, the danger audit. Sometimes the worry is too sticky. The peg won't move. So the Buddha says, look at the thought. Really look at it. Examine its toxicity. Ask yourself, what is this thought doing to me? Is it solving the problem? Or is it poisoning my blood? Is it helping me prepare? Or is it robbing me of the sleep I need to function tomorrow? When you viscerally see that the worry is eating you alive, that it is a parasite feeding on your vitality, you naturally begin to drop it. You don't drop it because you should. You drop it because it burns your hand. You lose your appetite for the poison. Method 3, strategic ignorance. If the thought persists, forget it, ignore it. This sounds simplistic, but it is profound. In the modern world, we think every thought is a nugget of gold that must be analyzed. Buddhism says most thoughts are just mental trash, debris, static. You are not obligated to entertain every visitor who knocks on the door of your mind. Some visitors are arsonists. Keep the door shut. Look away. Focus on the work in front of you. Method 4, the deceleration. But sometimes the storm is a hurricane. Nothing works. For this, the Buddha offered the most subtle and beautiful method of all. He said, investigate the momentum. He gave the image of a man running fast. The man stops and thinks, why am I running? This is exhausting. So he slows to a walk. Why am I walking? I can stand. So he stands. Why am I standing? I can sit. So he sits. Why am I sitting? I can lie down. This is the de-escalation of the nervous system. You don't slam the brakes at 100 miles per hour. You crash if you do that. You tap the brakes. You catch yourself in the loop and ask, can I just slow this thought down by 10? Can I loosen the tension in my jaw? Can I drop my shoulders 1 inch? You move from the mental sprint to the mental walk. You observe the process of the worry rather than drowning in the content of the worry. You become the watcher. And the moment you are watching the storm, you are no longer the storm. There is a story that haunts the Buddhist canon. The story of Gotamī. She was a young mother whose world collapsed when her only son died suddenly. She went mad with grief. Who wouldn't? She carried the small, cold body from house to house, begging for a miracle medicine to wake him up. People threw stones. They called her crazy. Finally, she came to the Buddha. He didn't preach to her about impermanence. He saw her fragility. He said, I can make the medicine, but I need a specific ingredient. Bring me a mustard seed. Her eyes lit up. I will get it. But the Buddha added, it must come from a household where no one has ever died. She ran into the village. First house, do you have a mustard seed? Yes. Has anyone died here? My father, last year. Second house, my sister. Third house, my child. She walked until the sun went down. She walked until her feet bled. Every door opened to a story of loss. Every hearth held the ashes of grief. Slowly, the madness lifted, the fog of why me, dissolved into the clarity of us. She saw that death is the law of the universe. She took her son's body to the cremation ground, said goodbye, and returned to the Buddha. Did you get the seed? He asked. No, she said. The work of the seed is done. She wasn't healed because the pain was removed. She was healed because her perspective expanded from the microscopic I to the cosmic we. She saw the reality. She stopped fighting the law of gravity. This is the path, not a magic trick to banish worry forever, but a way to stand in the fire and not be consumed, to slow down, to see, to loosen the death grip of control. You do not have to become a statue who never feels fear. You just have to become someone who sees the fear, nods at it, and refuses to let it drive the car. And now we arrive at the core, the diamond in the lotus. I want to leave you with one concept that changes everything. In the Dhammapada, verse 160, the Buddha said, Attā Nātho, you are your own refuge. Usually, we treat this as pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But in the esoteric sense, in the diamond vehicle, it means something far more tender and powerful. It means you must become the safe space you are looking for. When you are spiraling it to how do you treat yourself? Do you abuse yourself? Do you whip yourself with criticism? You are weak. You are a mess. Imagine your best friend came to you, shaking, crying, terrified of the future. Would you scream at them? No. You would hold them. You would make them tea. You would say, I am here. We will figure this out. You are safe with me. So why do you treat yourself with such violence? You are the only person you will be with for every second of your existence, from birth to death. Why make that relationship a war zone? Self-compassion is not soft. It is the armor of the warrior. The Buddha taught that hatred never ceases by hatred. It ceases only by love. This applies to your own mind. You cannot hate your anxiety into silence. You must love yourself enough to sit with it, like a mother sitting with a feverish child. I see you, fear. I know you are trying to protect me, but we are okay right now. The worry may not vanish tonight. The bills are still on the counter. The world is still chaotic. But you possess a technology of the spirit that is indestructible. You can come home, right now, not to the past, not to the future. Home to the breath, feel it, the cool air entering the nose, the warm air leaving, this biological anchor. It is the only thing that is happening right now. Come home to the body, feel the weight of your bones, the contact with the mattress. You are here. You are breathing. The heart is beating without you asking it to. You have survived 100 of your worst days up to this moment. That is not a statistic. That is a testament to your resilience. Verse 880 fun, like a solid rock unmoved by the wind, the wise are not shaken by praise or blame, or by worry. Be the rock. Let the winds of anxiety howl. Let the storm rage. You are grounded in the bedrock of the present moment. You are the observer of the storm, not the debris flying in the wind. The winds will blow. They always do. But if you are grounded, truly grounded in your own dignity, your own breath, your own capacity to endure, you will not be swept away. May you be kind to yourself in the darkness. May you remember that your worry is just a ripple on the surface of a deep, ancient lake. May you see the thoughts as clouds drifting across a vast, blue sky that they can never touch or stain. And may you know deeply in your marrow that you are your own refuge. You always have been. The path is not a destination. The path is this breath. And then the next one. And the next. You are already home.